This is the very quick heads up. What's this all about, this podcast about? Well, if you have any fears, any concerns, or just an interest in hypnosis, I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it and how it works sometimes, and the hypnotherapy, and just a bit of background to dispel any myths that may just give you a little bit of concern, because the process or the tool of hypnosis is a magical thing, or it creates magical results. It's not magic. That's what I'm going to try to say. So if that's of interest to you, have a listen after this.
Warning. 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 You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friends, welcome back to the PDU, Personal Development Unplugged podcast. It's me, your friend Paul, and I wanted to talk a little bit about why hypnosis. In the past, I did a set of, 3 5-minute quickies talking about NLP, talking about my love for timeline therapy, but also like having a mistress of hypnosis, because I loved hypnosis so much. And it just seems to work. But it's an ism. And when you get an ism, hypnotism and hypnosis, it seems to blow people's minds sometimes. I mean, I've even heard and watched Joe Rogan talk about hypnosis as if it's magic and it's, an occultish type thing. And it isn't. It's not magic. It's not magic at all. The results can be magical, but it's not magic. It's just a process. It's just a thing that you do. It's like a tool to facilitate the change. That's all it is, just a tool. Now, the very first time I saw this, it did blow my mind, I have to say that, because I went to my very first training and I saw good old Wilf Proudfoot, bless his soul, God rest him, but he took someone out onto the stage without saying a word, looked into this guy's eyes, just looked straight at him, and the whole room went quiet. And he didn't say a word. He didn't say a word at all. But suddenly, it was like a gradual change in this guy, the demo subject. Suddenly got quiet, his eyes closed, his head started to slouch, and he just tended to just relax. And that was it. That was the induction. And to me, it blew my mind. It was it was awesome. It was magical at that time, until I knew it was a simple thing of matching, mirroring, and then leading your client into trance. That's all you do. You match them, match their breaths, match their blinking of the eyes. If they were to move, you would match them, and then become a mirror of what they're doing. And then as you become that mirror, you would lead them into trance. And I thought, well, I'll never be able to do this. And within 5 minutes, I'd had it done to myself, and I couldn't stop myself going into trance. It was totally weird. I wanted to do it, so that wasn't a problem. I was in a hypnosis training, for goodness sake. And then I did it with this guy, and it was just awesome. It's not just talking, and that's the thing, and that's why I like hypnosis, because it's just, I don't think of it as a talking therapy. Yes, we do some talking when you're a hypnotherapist, because you want to find a little bit about your client, a little bit more about how they do what they do, and how they want to be. The rest of it we're going to find out. But that's the only real bit of talk, because then we just do stuff. Now, I know a lot of people get their results or feel good about talking to people. I've actually had clients come in and say, well, I want to talk about this. And, well, I said, I'm not a counsellor. If you want counselling, please see a counsellor. If if you want hypnotherapy, hypnosis, NLP, timeline therapy, I'm your man. And sometimes they've stayed, sometimes they've gone because they want to talk, and that's fine. That's cool. But what I tend to find with the talking therapists, if it doesn't get a resolution pretty quickly, you talk and 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 you know everything about it. But when you talk about it, you tend to go there and you feel bad again. And when you keep feeling bad again, and some people like you go into the last time, then the time before that, and the time before that, until you've, And I think sometimes that actually magnifies it because you're creating an anchor. Certainly you're creating an anchor with that, maybe with that counsellor, because every time you see them, you're talking about and feeling bad. For my clients, I want them to see me and feel good, feel change. So I don't want to create a habit of just talking. I want to create a habit of being able to change. So the other problem I see is this, that if you do have an issue, did you wake up this morning and decide, I'm going to do this issue? You probably thought actually the complete opposite. But when you even started this issue, the very moment you started it, and you're probably saying, Paul, I can't even think about it. I think I know when it started. I'm not sure. But if you were to know the very first time you did it, did you wake up or start and go, do you know what? I'm going to start panicking. I'm going to start being anxious. I'm going to start being afraid. I'm going to start being, to feel guilty about this. I'm going to feel not good enough. Do you consciously think about that? I'm going to decide to keep everything in order and keep checking and checking and checking, that OCD. You don't, do you? Because that would be conscious. And if you did decide to do it up here, then you could decide or undecide to do it up here. But as you didn't, you did it, well, I believe you did it unconsciously. And if you did it unconsciously, where's the place to go? The place to go, in my mind, is to the unconscious mind. How do you do that? Well, one way is hypnosis, because that just deals with the unconscious mind. Some people say it bypasses the critical faculty. I don't know. I don't know enough. I've been doing it for 21 years. But if you talk to so many hypnotherapists or hypnotists, everyone will have a different definition and belief about hypnosis. But what I do know is they've probably all got the same type of results, or they have seen them. The results that you can be obtained by using hypnosis as a tool, because that's all it is. It's just a tool. So I love it again because some people will come and say, well, I've talked about this. I've been doing this for years and years and years. I've got this issue. It's carried on. I can't even remember a time when I haven't had it. And within 1 or 2 sessions, which is probably going to be about 3 hours at the most, if they haven't got rid of it completely, it's nearly gone. Now that to me is amazing. That's the magical side of it. Not magic, magical. Because you've used the right tool. And you use the right tool with the right, I believe, philosophy. The philosophy of learning from the root cause and understanding your unconscious mind had and has a positive intention. So whatever behavior you're doing and having a limiting belief to me, or a negative emotion, or behaviors that really aren't supporting what you're doing, they're all part of a positive intention. It's just that your unconscious mind keeps doing the same old stuff, and it just needs a bit of help. Just needs a little help. But we need to get your unconscious mind to learn, I believe, from the root cause. The root cause of that issue. So when it learns from that, it doesn't need those old emotions anymore to keep trying to do the right thing, because now it can do a different thing to do the right thing. And I think that's the whole point. You then honour that positive intention of your unconscious mind. And that's the thing. If we honour that intention, the way I work anyway, we get your unconscious mind to understand there's a conflict going on, a conflict between its positive intention and the behaviours that it's using. And there's a conflict going on there. Well, if we can keep the intention and find a better way, we're aligned. We're harmonious. We're congruent. We're all that stuff. And that's when things just seem to me, change happens. And change happens fast, and change happens, I would say, permanently. Certainly that change happens and remains permanent. So it might come along and knock you off kilter a little bit in the future, but we can deal with that. And I know a lot of people worry, oh, hypnosis. What happens if something comes up that I'm not aware of? Well, to me, if it's not part of the problem, it probably won't come up. If it is part of the problem, that's got to be dealt with anyway. But the thing is, you can deal with it without content. Because it's about getting your unconscious mind to learn. Unconscious mind to learn from the root cause. The first event when learned upon will disappear and let you change and be the way you want to be. I can remember so many clients, and certainly, and I think I've said it here in this podcast, people coming to me and they just cannot talk about their issue. They're in such an emotional state. And I don't want them to relive it. So what we do is get them to work with their unconscious mind, so their conscious mind can go off and dream about all the things they want as a goal, how they want to be in the future, while their unconscious mind goes into the past and learns from that event everything away from the conscious mind. So once learned, then we can start working together. In fact, there was an example of this, which about working without content, because I was working with this chap a long time ago, and he wanted to work with me because I used to work, Joseph and myself used to work together. Joseph at that time was only 18, my son 18, working with people. And he said, I want to work with you, Paul, because you're my age. I don't feel comfortable with working with such a young man. So we did a session. I said, but I'm going on holiday, so I won't be able to see you next week. So I said, that's fine. But then in the week he said, actually, Paul, I really need to see you. I said, well, as I said, I'm on holiday. So, but Joseph could work with you. And he said, well, I don't fancy talking about it. I said, I guarantee you will not have to talk. Joseph will guide you, and your unconscious mind, you're going to think about how you want to be, as we've done today, done in the week. And he will guide your unconscious mind to find the resources you need to be able to carry on your changes, because you've made great changes and you're going to make the change you want. Well, he ummed and ahed. He reluctantly for himself said, okay, I'll do that. Do you know what? It was a blast. He loved me. He loved Joseph because it was so easy for him. He didn't have to say a word because it was without content. And that's why I love hypnosis. So we work without content. If things come up, they come up, we deal with them. But they don't have to come up. I've worked with people who have said, well, isn't it strange that the abuse I had when I was a child didn't come up in this? Well, is it part of the problem? No. Have you dealt with it? Yeah. Why would it come up then? That's the thing. The other thing is, have you ever tried changing a behavior, a habit, consciously up here? Really try, because some people say you got to do it for 30 days. And if you haven't done it, if you fall down on, say, day 29, you've got to go back to day 1 and do 30 days again. And oh my goodness me, it's so blooming difficult because you don't create really things up here. Your unconscious mind goes, either this is good and I want to use it because it's helping you. Sometimes those behaviors aren't quite good, but things like smoking, overeating, drinking to excess, actually have a positive intention because they're maybe dealing with stress in one way, but it's just short-lived. We get your unconscious mind to find a healthy alternative unconsciously. But if you think about it, unconsciously, when you're dreaming, have you ever had that dream? Not this dream. Have you ever had a dream that you think has lasted for hours, maybe days, maybe weeks? But when you wake up, you look, oh, I've only been asleep for 5 minutes. How did that happen? Well, it's like your unconscious mind can time travel or speed up time. And that's one of the processes we use for not only finding those resources, but to practice those new resources to make sure that they actually work, make sure they're healthy alternatives. Because if I don't want to get someone to stop smoking and find out they're overeating and drinking, or stop drinking and then they start smoking because that's not dealing with There's just an effect, and it's not dealing with maybe the stress that's causing them to do that. So we want healthy alternatives, how to deal with the root cause of that in a healthy way. So one of the processes we would do is get your unconscious mind to maybe, well, for me anyway, I go through the next 7 days, putting in place these new behaviors, these new beliefs, and a wonderful set of positive emotions in place of the old ways. So if anything was to come up in those 7 days, and I will always say, not that it will, but if it did, instead of using the old ways, I want your unconscious mind to put in the most appropriate, healthy, new way. New behavior, new wonderful empowering beliefs, and wonderful emotions. And when it does that, I say come back to now, and then go through back through the next 7 days and another 3 weeks after that. So effectively a month, but we're going through the first 7 days again. Because what does practice make? No, it doesn't make perfect. It makes permanent. So if we get good practice, we get permanent change. So then I say to the unconscious mind, once you've done that and noticed how well it works, and you're learning from it all the time, adding more and more and more, maybe now go through the next 3 months, but I want you to start again from the next 7 days, the next 3 weeks after that, and another 2 months after that. And your unconscious mind is doing it within about 30 seconds. And then we'll go 6 months, starting from today, all the way through 6 months. And then we'll go a whole full year, starting from now, all the way through. And getting your unconscious mind to just keep making it even more better. And that probably takes 5 minutes in total to have gone through the whole year, but over and over again. And then getting your unconscious mind to commit to this new way in place of the old ways, because it's matching the intention. They're fit, healthy, new, supportive, appropriate new ways that makes life better. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? And sometimes, if you have any doubts about things like that, well, think about, I'll give you a little clue. One of my programs, the Supreme Inner Confidence program, well, that has 6 parts. And the 6 parts are, well, they start off with 2 hypnosis processes to clear and learn from the past, just as we just said. Go to the root cause. Find out what's creating this. Getting your unconscious mind to study and understand that it's in conflict with what it wants to do. And then the next 2 parts of it, 2 hypnosis tracks, and the processes are to start installing in the now some new ways. But not my new ways. It would be your new ways using hypnosis. And then the last part, going out into the future. 2 more hypnosis tracks to really install these, but install them in a way that they are appropriate. They're ecological. They're good for you. They're good for the people around you and good for little old planet Earth. And that's all just using a tool of hypnosis. The results are magical. This isn't. It is just a process. And if you're good at it, and the thing is, you need to know the processes to use within that hypnosis. And that's the key, I think, is getting that philosophy of dealing with the root cause, honoring the positive intention that your unconscious mind is doing for you, generally trying to keep you safe, which is like keeping the stress away. Immediate thing, maybe to smoke, drink, eat, watch telly, get lethargic. Because in that instant, that snapshot, that small bit of time, it's instant to get away from it. Long term, we need to just educate your unconscious mind. It's not really appropriate because there are better ways. And then using hypnosis and your unconscious mind, you say this or that. This is the one that's really healthy and really does the job, and this one doesn't. What are you going to choose? It's a no-brainer. All with hypnosis. And I just love it that way. Don't you? Wouldn't you think that it's a good thing to do? You see, I just wanted to share this with you just a bit, because if anyone has any doubt about using the tool of hypnosis to get speedy change. All you have to do is find maybe a good hypnotist. A good hypnotist, and to me that's one probably with good background of NLP and timeline therapy and other processes that it could have the flexibility, because you are not a one program person. I do know some people who will use the same process over and over again for everything. I'm not that person. And I like people to have a huge dichotomy of processes. They can pick the right one at the right time. Then you can just be the person you want to be. Now, I've talked about my Supreme Inner Confidence program. You know where to get that. That's on paulcloughonline.com. Go there, use PDU40, and you'll get 40% discount. That's the code to use. Have fun with that. If you join and come to my hypnosis tracks, and that's at paulcloughonline.com/podcast, you've got 50 free hypnosis tracks there anyway, and you'll get a newsletter with an additional percentage discount. You've got nothing to lose other than unconfidence or anxiety, fears, or stress, because there's a really good deep relaxation, an instant relaxation hypnosis tracks there. But anyway, have a look. I just wanted to dispel, if you have anything, why I have this as my foundation of the PDU, Personal Development Unplugged podcast, because it just works. And that's why sometimes in the processes or in the podcast episodes, I will do a process in there, because once your mind can see there's an opportunity for change, I want to seize that opportunity with you to share a process that you could just notice how you can change conversationally, because we do. Because even conversationally, as soon as you start to imagine seeing yourself over there, doing it differently, that's hypnosis. Because you're just in another modality. It's like a trance. We're in a trance all the time. We're just in different trances, I believe. So we just change our trance into our imagination of what's possible. To be open. We just suspend our maybe beliefs or disbeliefs just for a moment to allow our unconscious mind to notice how it can change for you and support you. I hope that made a little bit of sense. If it didn't, please do email me. Give me some feedback on what didn't make sense. That's feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Or tell me what you'd like to have as a process if you have an issue. And let's see if we can get a hypnosis or NLP process together to help you make those changes. Let me know. Give me your feedback. I'd love it. I really do. I love all the feedback I get. And you get a personal email from me. You know that. But more than that, I get to understand your needs. And if I can get your needs sorted, you're going to make good changes in the world. You are going to share it. You will share this podcast. I know you're desperate to share it right now, but you have to hang on just a moment or two before you share it now. And when you're in a good place, the people around you get to be around you in a good place. They get in a good place. You become the change you want to see in others and yourself. You become that flagship of change, that wonderful example of what's possible, which allow people to do the same. You inspire people, and we don't have to be this massive motivational thing to inspire people. We can all inspire people in just our own subtle ways, because we have wonderful positive intentions. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope if you did have any fears or concerns about hypnosis, then hopefully they've disappeared. And now you can either go back through the back catalogue to see what I've done, see what we've done together in those processes, or go to those hypnosis tracks. Just sign up. paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Sign up and choose there's over 50 hypnosis tracks. There'll be one there for you to get the change that you want when you want it now. Okay. I'm going to see you next time. Have more fun than you can stand. And have all the passion. Wallow in passion and fun and joy. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.